Well, hello everybody. It's a different kind of video today. I'm going to go ahead and record some drone footage of the property right after a major storm rolled through. The sun came out, so I realized I would be able to see the reflections of the water. My goal here is to figure out where I'm going to put stock ponds and where the water is flowing. So without further ado, there's the horse trailer for reference. I'm near the frog pond. What I'm trying to do is get an aerial view of how the water comes into my property, how it exits my property, where I could put swales and ultimately divert those swales into a pond. Now that's my neighbor's property, John. There's my driveway, partially flooded again. I'll get that in there. There's my frog pond. You see, I have a huge opportunity to make a large pond there. I thought originally a small little pond, a mud puddle, if you will, but I could make a bigger pond there. There's the house opened up for me to work in, getting some air in and out of it. The honeybees are coming in swarming me, so I got to be careful. The garden, I've got a moon garden, half moon, and then a full moon. But I see some water running just to the left side of the screen there along, and there's another ditch a little farther, another 20 foot into the trees. You can't see it. There's my sawmill. Now my sawmill will eventually be another driveway so that I'll have two drives for my property so I can come and go. But I can see right through the middle of the sawmill, it looks like water flows through there. But more importantly, right off to the right edge, I see quite a bit of water flowing. So there is plenty of opportunities for me to put swales in here. Now, most of this I won't change because I don't mind water getting to the ground table. I don't mind watering grass. But what I want to do is I want to right here in this corner, I want to put a little pond, a redirect pond that'll grab the water that's flowing through that arroyo you can't see in the trees, turn it and run it this direction into a 2-acre pond that'll cut into those trees. And the fence line there on the left side that you're seeing, that will actually be a built up earthen dam, and there will be the pond. You can see that right through the middle there, a lot of water comes through that. And then a little water's coming through right there as well to the right hand side. This is the back end of my property. Because it's super bright, I can't see what I'm doing. I overshot on my little cell phone, which is controlling the drone. I overshot the property. Plus you see with the wind blowing it around, it's stuttering a little bit. And when it stutters and jumps, then I lose the control. And right now the drone has lost its mind and it's just following the arroyo up. None of this is my property. This is the neighbor directly to the south of me. I'm not trying to be nosy rather, just the, and I might edit this out too, we'll see. See here, I figure out I'm lost. Like, I don't have a field like that. So I think it's pretty good. I can recognize a field based on trees from an aerial view. I think that means I'm a pretty good farmer, that I know what's going on. So here I am trying to get reoriented. I will crop a bunch of this. All right, I figured out what I did finally on the drone, and I got it moving back over my property. Just flew over my fence line right there. So I'm taking a look at that. That's the fairy garden, that area, the trees. I really like that area. I can see a little bit of water in there, but there it's flowing. I can see it going from top to bottom of screen. Sorry for the jump. I can't control that. There is my horse trailer. Again, good hunk of water comes through this part of my property, I can see. So I'll work on that down through the years and get it high enough. But my initial goal will be to get this drive out of the water. And I'm going to need to put another culvert in there at the back end. So now that I have a rough orientation, I'm going to go ahead and fly the fence line one more time. And my goal here is to divide up the property into 4 paddocks. So it's 30 acres divided into 4. I might split those 4 into half. But nonetheless, I want animals 90 days on each paddock, and then I'll rotate it. So I need a pond in each paddock. So this part of it, the back part of it, I'll have a 2-acre pond on one end. That might take care of it. But what I'm looking at right here, where those trees are down, little brush piles, there's an opportunity to put in some ponds, right? So, and it's already clear. And so I could see that right there, for example. I could put in a stock pond. It'd be a pretty nice pond, actually, a little tranquil pool. And again, I would shoot for something deep and nice. That's the corner of my property there. Going into the fairy garden area, which is a forested area. The neighbors have a pond that's just off screen to the right. You can sort of see it if you look real hard. There's some ponds in there. So now I'm flying that fence line looking through the trees to see if I could see any water flowing through the trees. And I don't think I do. I think that the spots that I identified in the first flyover in the front half of the property, that's where most of the water's rolling. But notice my neighbor's property 50 feet in, he's got a good hunk of water, and there it breaks in where the coyotes and bobcats and everything come in. Right there it breaks into my property, and it's not flooding, but effectively flooding a little spot there. So again, another place I could put a swale to push water down into the 2 acre or 3 acre pond that I'm going to put. Let me go ahead and go up a little higher, and then we'll take a look at the house area. So there is a solid flow of water, which would be east to west. It's diagonal right now going through that. So definitely I could capture all of that and put that into a pond, and I wouldn't be digging. What I don't want to do is dig a dry hole, right? Just put a big hole in my property. It's all clay underneath that first 8-10 inches, sometimes even 4 inches. So I know it's the right clay to make a pond. I know that I could make them a little larger. Water in Texas is super important. There you get a good picture of how the water flows through the property and turns and goes into that arroyo. So it's going diagonally from the bottom up to the right a little bit, and then cuts back down following a driveway, a logging driveway. So now that I'm satisfied taking a look at what's going on in the wooded area of my property, and these will really help me later on. It's a clear, bright winter day, so the leaves are off the trees. It just was a perfect storm for me to look at. So here we could see my poor fields that the hogs have plowed up something fierce, just really plowed them up, wrecked these fields. I'm going to have to replow them and reseed them. There's not a lot of grass left in there, to be honest. But over to the lower left where the regular stock pond is, I'm thinking of adding a sister pond to that with a little bridge that I could drive over. Then the last spot that needs a pond is this spot. So we're just reaching a paddock line. I'm stopping and thinking maybe I want to put a pond right there between the paddock line, between the fence there, and capture. But as I'm looking, I'm seeing what looks like water flow, maybe in that field. And so I'm going to fly up a little bit. And granted, I'm looking at the screen on a little teeny tiny cell phone, and it's super bright where I'm looking at the screen, so it's hard for me to see. But I think in the middle of that field, there's water. So there is definitely water between the neighbor's fence line and mine. I see it spills over onto my property. So right there, where the one fence goes up and down, that's a neighbor I haven't met. But the wooded area is my neighbor Ted, and he's a really great guy to work with. So I'm thinking right there, if I was creative, I could cut off that back corner of the arroyo that just dumps water into a ditch and bring that into the property, and it wouldn't hurt a thing, and put a pond right there, maybe for the cattle. So as I follow the fence line effectively between my neighbor's heavily wooded property and my poor torn up fields, I'm seeing quite a bit of water that's coming in, and just I think it's probably swamping my neighbor's driveway. That's probably what that is. I don't think that it's on mine. It's hard to tell because I'm up there a little bit. But at a glance, I believe that water could be captured, pulled down into a little bit better of a pond. And then, of course, the ponds would also have an exit. So it would eventually get into the creeks anyway and the watershed anyway. But I think that's what I'm going to do. Nothing further. I was thinking about flying down my driveway, but the wind is super strong. You see how the poor little drone's bouncing around? And it's bouncing around because the wind is pushing it so heavily. I'm losing transmission even. It's complaining. My screen is full of errors right now, warning me high wind. and just angry as a bee at me, and it's not having it. But I appreciate y'all if you're still with me. There's nothing fancy going on here. It's not a cool, slick video. It's just a farmer, a rancher looking at his land. So there's one paddock that already has a fence that works. There's a second paddock with a pond, with a fence line that is three out of 4. Well, I'm being generous. 2 out of 4 fence lines are up, and the other 2 need a substantial amount of work. There's a horse by an oak tree. I see at the top of the pond there, I see a horse by the oak tree. And now we're heading back towards the house and the frog pond. We can see my flooded driveway there to the right. I'm pausing here for notes so that I can see how the water works. So you can see John built this right. When it fills up, then it goes off to the right and flows down. And also I can see there's some runoff, so it'll never overtop. This pond will never overflow top. I won't have to worry about a broken wall unless, a woodchuck digs it out or something. So hopefully that'll never go. Going back into my property, my shipping containers will be 2 feet up off the ground. Well, they are 2 feet up off the ground. But there will be an island of, I'm going to say landscaping, terracotta, walls, really pretty things. So good spot for the house. I'm not worried about it flooding. It looks worse aerial than it is. Most of that's just surface water. I'm just watching mud puddles. But above, which would be effectively south, you can see that there's a solid line of water running from side to side, left to right. That's a good hunk of water. And that's going to go to the 2-acre pond I'm going to build in the woods. And I don't ever want to get in the way of that water. I can really tell. I think that was a old logging trail is what I bet that was. Or could have been a pioneer road even. I don't know. But it's down there a little bit. There's the fairy garden. Now I'm taking a minute to really study that fairy garden because I thought originally I saw water flowing in it, but I don't. So, but over there to the right side, along the neighbor's fence line and mine, it is soggy. It looks like I could catch, if I was so inclined, a little tranquility pool there. But I don't know. I think I'll abandon that idea and I'll shift all of the ponds to the effectively east side. But your left, it's a little off screen, where I showed you where those arroyos were. And just make a big enough pond there that if I run a fence through this back paddock and divide it into 2, that I won't have to worry about any thirsty animals, that they'll have water. I like that idea. And we'll chop that up, make that a little shorter when I do the video. Okay, swiveling back into the live here. There's the house and the horse trailer. There's the frog pond. Again, a good hunk of water comes through that area. In addition to the house, eventually I'll have a courtyard, Spanish courtyard in the back. You all saw that I accidentally found an old fountain that I recovered. It was going to be demolished, and I've got it out there. I could see my little red tractor under the trees. So now I'm flying back to me. I think I've made a circuit and enough. Just from this one video, enough study of the water and the mud puddles that I understand how the water flows through this property so much better than I did earlier. Now I'm dividing it up into 4 paddocks that will give the horses, I'll rotate them every 90 days. So rather than let them graze the whole thing, I think, and then I can reseed. So here I am self-landing. Well, originally when it jumped real quick and did its thing, it was on sport mode and I told it to come home. Bam, man, it was flying home. So I took back over. Right now I'm trying to fly it. And the sun is so bright and in my eyes that I'm just using my ear to decide where the drone is. And then to bring it down. And I am reading my screen on my cell phone. That's what I'm using to control the drone, as well as sticks. The cell phones connect to a drone joystick. So, and then the gimbal, I'm adjusting the camera gimbal. So right about here is where I start seeing where the drone is. There we go. I looked up even and saw where the drone is, and I'm getting it under control. And What I didn't want to have it do is run out of battery and just drop into the mud, right, and short out. So now I'll be messing around for a little bit while I land this thing. So this is a Cinemaster drone. It's a U.S. Company, so it's nice. This drone is built for film work. I've got it on sports mode right now because of the wind. But it's got a bunch of modes where you can pan in, follow me. You could just do all kinds of stuff. So you're just going to see, this is me. I'm not a very good drone operator. I can see. I just want to land it, but the wind's pushing. I can't see. There we go. I rotate it around where I feel good now. I'm in control. The drone is pointing right at me, and so then it says hi, and I wave at it. It waves at me. And friendly little drone. The camera there next to me was the audio on it ended up not working. So otherwise, it would have had I would have had to re-narrate like I am right now. But this is a little easier narration. When I was shooting it there, the sun was so bright, I couldn't see what I'm doing. So there was a lot of times where I go, a lot of self-interruption. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for doing this. Nothing special. This is it. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, follow me along. Most of my videos aren't boring. This one was informational, but this is my personal journal that I'm putting together almost on a daily basis. I shoot as I do 2 off-grid containers. You can see them there. Turn them into a Santa Fe mission style house. And today was just a perfect day for me to get a drone out and capture what's going on with the water. And so most of the time I'm working inside the containers, but I also am homesteading and doing restorative agriculture. My idea in this forest is to restore it from this mesquite and cedar thicket into a food forest in Texas, which the drought has beaten me. I planted over 1,000 trees out here, and I could not water them enough during the 2 years of drought, and I lost every tree, every darn tree. So I'm going to have to rethink how I'm going to do that. I am just capturing water from runoff and from the roof. And I believe if I'm going to be a serious agriculture, I'm going to have to put in a well to accommodate off times. We'll see. So there you are. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Little drones capturing me, heading in. Y'all have a very good day. Like, subscribe, follow me along. Bye-bye.